Things happen behind the scenes. Let me start by sharing with you how I found my first job after I moved to Canada. I talk about this from a job search strategy perspective, so we can understand that things do happen behind the scenes. If you release the need to control everything related to your job search and open yourself to opportunities along the way, your job search process will be less stressful and more effective. My first job in a new city and country. A few days after landing, I took the situation in my hands and started looking for information so I could understand how to find a job in the new country. I knew almost nothing about the Canadian culture and the job market, but I had both a short-term goal to find a job as soon as possible to pay my bills and a long-term objective to change careers. Also, I didn't know in which direction. Looking at the brochures picked up at the airport, I decided that my first stop would be at the YMCA, a center that has a lot of presentations for newcomers. While waiting for a presentation to start, I grabbed several flyers, and one of them was about a center helping women immigrants. There, I talked with an employment counselor who seemed somehow intimidated by my engineering background. Just talking with her gave me a confidence boost, and the advice received was priceless. While there, I grabbed another brochure about a Francophone center. The French language seemed more familiar to me at that point, having the same Latin roots as Romanian, my first language, so I decided to check it out. My first appointment there was with an employment counselor. Every time I went to these centers, I was dressed like I was going to a job interview, and I could immediately see the positive impact that made on the people I met. This employment counselor looked at my resume and cover letter, provided additional job search tips, opened a file for my case, and kept my resume. He was also impressed by my background in several fields, another boost of confidence for me. Back home in Romania, someone who changed fields and jobs every 3 to 4 years was not viewed so well at the time. While here, it seems to be quite appreciated. What a relief. I get annoyed by staying too long in a certain position, so I was glad to discover a professional culture that better suits my personality. The employment counselor recommended a 3-day job search workshop and referred me to another program that could pair me with a Canadian to help me understand the Canadian culture. I attended the job search workshop and met new people, the colleagues and the workshop leader, the first professional coach I ever met. I also met the manager of the pairing program, and she registered me in her program. Noticing my professional background, she asked me to volunteer to research and create a list of professional organizations in Toronto. I gladly accepted, since I could do the research from home while still looking for jobs. Almost 2 weeks after my arrival, paired with a lot of information regarding the job search process, I was all pumped to find my first job. I started by contacting recruitment agencies, at least to get my name in their databases. Those days, I was leaving home at 8 a.m. in the morning to find more information, getting back home in the evening, quite tired. But I was doing it on my own pace, with breaks when I needed to boost my energy level. Once home, until bedtime, I searched the internet for information related to what I had come across during the day, sent job applications, and made plans for the next day. By the way, for administrative position, recruitment agencies usually ask you to pass tests, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which eat up few good hours. I couldn't do more than 2 agencies per day. Via an online discussion group of Romanians, I met Bobby. He had a similar background and had come to Toronto a couple months earlier. So we were looking for the same thing, a door to get into the job market. We stayed in touch, exchanging information along the way. The leader of the job search workshop sent us job opportunities from time to time. When I received an email about a 10-day bilingual position at a government booth for the Winter Agricultural Fair, I jumped on it. I called right away, and the lady asked if I knew other bilingual people. They had 10 positions. I called Bobby to let him know, and I also posted the position in that online discussion group. Funny thing, Bobby was accepted, along with others who saw my message, but I wasn't. I consolated myself saying that I could use those 10 days to continue my job search instead of working 10 hours a day for them. Several days later, while talking with Bobby about his experience, I noticed that his morale was quite down. He kept sending resumes without results. So I encouraged him to visit the same Francophone Center. Almost 2 months passed by, and one day, the only day I stayed home, sick with the flu, I received a phone call. I'm a recruiter. I would like to invite you to a job interview for a bilingual customer service representative position. My jaw dropped. How did they find out about me? I never applied for any position in their company. And I didn't even think to send an application to a financial company, as I didn't have any financial background. Of course, I accepted the invitation, being ready to start somewhere so I could pay my bills. That was my short-term goal. I had a strong belief that I wouldn't be there for long, and I also was curious to find out how the company found me. 2 days before the interview, Bobby told me he had gone to the Francophone Center and was received by the same employment counselor. How did you find out about our center? The counselor asked. A friend of mine, Gabriela Casineanu, told me. Oh, Gabriela, how is she doing? She's still looking for a job. She didn't find one yet? No. In front of Bobby, the employment counselor took my resume from a folder and faxed it to the company that called me. Dilemma solved, just in time. Before the job interview started, I was asked to fill out some forms, and one of the questions was, how did you find out about this position? I did get the job and stayed there 3 months. In the meantime, I continued my job search and found another position corresponding to my background, which almost doubled my salary. Thank you.